So all of your slides need to have a picture or a one-liner that's a sticky enough statement to set the foundation of the conversation. But after that, then you provide the context. What am I also doing? I know that instead of somebody taking my offer, they would think if I got 20, 30 grand in the bank, I'll just go do this on my own. So I'm pre-framing part of the room who thinks I'm gonna go do this on my own with my 20, 30,000, letting them know inadvertently how much they don't know. How many of you, not only have you been to college, how many of you have gone to college and had to borrow money to go to college? Just put college in the chat. Put college in the chat if you not only went to college, but you had to borrow money to go to college. By the way, I'm right there with y'all. Y'all heard my story. After I lost my scholarship, when I flunked out, I had to pay when I went back. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't had the money to pay either, so I had to go borrow money like y'all. But here's the thing that's so interesting about that. At some point in all of our lives, we thought that college was putting us in the best situation to be successful. And we believed in that so much that we didn't stop and say we're not going because we didn't have the money. We went and found this partner called Financial Aid Office, and we partnered with them, and we went and borrowed all this money, $200,000 for some of us. And then we went and paid some professor, and then they taught us how to get it. Does that seem very intelligent? Like when you really look at it at its core, is that intelligent? That you would borrow money to pay somebody to teach you how to get a limitation, but then you wouldn't borrow money to pay somebody to teach you how to make limitless money. Just put do better in the chat. We got to do better. Don't we? And there is better if we're willing to do better. So let's get into these top 3 mistakes. Matter of fact, are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to get into these mistakes? So what did y'all surmise from that last thing in that transition?
They need to pay for coaching.
Well, that was part of it for sure. I mean, that was a part of it. You're taking them on this journey with you, right? Because the whole goal of this whole thing is to eliminate as many roadblocks as possible so that when I get down to the offer, I've already cleared the pathway. If I don't do these things ahead of time and set them up, as she said, right, then I'm setting everybody up for failure. It's not their fault that I didn't prepare them to be ready to buy. You do understand that, right? This ain't even about selling them nothing. This is about the fact that I had somebody in my care and I lack the ability to help them see themselves in a different frame. Because the only reason why they haven't bought is because they don't see themselves in a different frame. If money is still a limitation, that's my fault, right? Almost 70% of every room you'll be in has gone to college. And probably of that, 68% of them didn't pay for it out of pocket. So that's always a good pre-frame to show people how they've already done the thing that they said they wouldn't do. I don't like borrowing money for stuff. Okay, really? You wouldn't have got a couple $100,000 from them folks to go pay for a limitation. Now, if you want to get on this side with the rich and wealthy folks, similar behavior, but different application, right? It won't get everybody, but it'll get the ones that it's supposed to get. And that's what you want to do. You want to take them on this journey. Just think about it like this. For most of these people, they've never had proximity to sit down with an expert that can help change their life. I want you to think about that. So when they say yes to be with you, although it's free, they're investing their most precious asset called their time. So when they show up, I take full ownership and responsibility in the fact that they came here for some level of enlightenment that they lack in their life and probably don't got nobody called me that they can ask. So for this time that I'm together with them, I got to prepare them to go be their best self, whether they come with me or not, right? Same is true with the challenge. If you take that posture, then it really, I promise y'all, it's no longer a presentation no more. It's like I'm trying to kick it with these folks, give them something real and tangible to help change their life because they at least raised their hand and took a risk at being here tonight with me to help them do so. So there's some things that are principle, okay? One of the things is this, going back to the beginning of the conversation. If you don't enroll them from the opening and reiterate to them why they're there, you failed from the start. If you literally start your presentation off with starting the presentation, you failed from the start. I know, look, it's going to feel weird and uncomfortable when you first start doing it because it's not going to feel natural. But if you'll do it, making money will start feeling natural. You cannot assume that they know why they're there. And just to start giving them information, they don't even know you. People be on my masterclass, don't even know my name. They get to know it, but like we make too many assumptions that they're ready for what we think they're ready for. They need to be reminded why they're there. Okay, so you got to ask them. And by the way, you're asking them an aspirational question. How many of you, in Dr. Steffi's case, how many of you are here because you want to finally put period pain to rest so that you can go out and be more productive in your job, in your business, in your career, and hopefully, ladies, print money as a result of that. Like, if that's you, put that's me in the chat. Now, here's what I want you to know. The information I'm gonna share with you tonight is very rich. While simple in nature, very difficult to be consistent with sometimes. How many of you are actually gonna take action, though, with what I share with you and be consistent at the end of this and take action? Put I am in the chat. I don't care what your offer is. You got to enroll them in the conversation. Okay. And then, set the tone. Yeah, I'm going to share with y'all the top 3 mistakes. You almost make that an aside, which, by the way, in this presentation, what have I done? I've made that an aside. Remember how in the beginning I was like, I'm going to teach y'all the top 3, but I'm going to teach y'all so much more than that. My emphasis has been on the so much more than that. It ain't even been about the 3 mistakes. Because now what do they think? Well, it's not just what they think. What did they observe? That I'm over delivering. They like, we didn't got all this game. We didn't even got to the mistakes yet. I can only imagine what would happen if I pay this guy. People be played with every day. When you show up and show somebody you're not playing with them or their time, and you're really there to make a contribution to their life, there's no better equity you could build with somebody than that. Because you can fake your words, but you can't fake your energy. One of my mentors, Myra, said that. You can fake your words, but you can't fake your energy. That's real, which is why y'all can sniff it out when you get on the webinars and people be all over the place and maybe they entertain and they theatrical and all the things, but you can't fake energy though. Like y'all legitimately know I care as I'm going through this with y'all. Okay. So let's get into these mistakes. All right. But by the way, you heard me ask them, are y'all ready? You got to remember they're on this thing with you for an hour, right? People's attention span is little. So you got to re-engage them as you're going through. Okay. And then you want to get them excited, right? Even if they wasn't ready, when they say they're ready, now they're ready. Okay. So it's all psychological that you're probing them as you're going through. Okay. So mistake number, how we doing on time? I can't see no clock. I have no idea what's going on right now.
It's like an hour and 15 minutes, but I have a question.
Okay. All right. Hit me with it.
Okay, this is a follow-up to Denisha's. So I understand going over and everything, but what are you, when you're sending the webinar out, how long are you saying it's going to be? Is it going to be 90 minutes? Is it going to be 60 minutes? And then, it's going to be 90 minutes and it may go over? Or are you saying anytime? Or what's that like?
It's a good question. We've tested various angles in the past. I know at some point we had exactly what you said, 90-minute webinar. At other points, we had 60-minute webinar. I think, knowing me, I told David and him at some point, just take the time off, period. And just put the time that it starts. And then when I come in the room with them, I tell them, so look, this is what we're gonna be together over this next hour and some change. That's normally loosely how I said in the beginning. We're gonna spend about an hour and some change together. Here's the part. It's not too long as it's engaging. It's too long if they getting bored at you talking at them and not with them. The only reason why it would ever go long is because y'all are having conversation. Because think about it. Your content, if you just went through your content, you'd be done in probably 45 minutes. But if you're doing it and you're having conversation, that's what makes it longer. If current client is on the call, is a live testimonial better or potentially lose control? Bro, listen to me. Not never should you do a live testimonial on a webinar. Not never should you allow them to unmute themselves and ask you questions. Not never. You hear me? Emphasis on not never. Okay. There's only one captain in this seat, and you have to control the room at all times. See, at the challenge is different because these people have paid some money. Okay. But when you got free people that clicked on something and showed up in your room, it's people there legitimately just to act a fool. You better know it. It's when y'all rooms start getting big enough, there are people there legitimately that's just there to act a fool. So you look, You hang with clowns long enough, you become a part of the circus. I don't let nobody unmute nothing. And as soon as they put something out of control in the chat, the team get them out of there. People are on the edge of their seat. They want what you got, but they still nervous because they waiting for the shoe to drop, right? So no, you got to control the controllables.